Can wit and intelligence change a person's fortune? Do you think if you are very witty, then you can handle any situation? Well, we're going to find that out in the story that I have got for you today on the channel Ammu&You, where I'm Ammu and I'm here to narrate stories to you. The name of the story today is The Barber's Wife, written by Romila Thapar. And children, let me tell you that I have started doing stories for you all. 3 stories every week. 2 stories in English and 1 in Hindi. Listen to them and let your friends, cousins, family also listen to the same. And write to me in the comment section below how you like the story. So today, the story that I have for you is The Barber's Wife, written by Romila Thapar. And she talks about a woman who is very witty and who gets into so many difficult situations in the story. But she saves herself each time. How? Well, here it is how. There was once a very clumsy barber. Now, who is clumsy? Clumsy is someone who is not skillful, who does not know things to do the right way. The poor man could never cut someone's hair without cutting off a bit of his ear, or shave a man without leaving gashes on his face. Few people came to him, and his family was extremely poor. This is how he was clumsy. One day, the barber waited all day for customers, but no one came. His wife was very angry when he came back home without any money. There is nothing for us to eat tonight. What am I supposed to cook? Are you not supposed to get money from which we buy some food? But what do you do the whole day? Nothing. And she stomped out of the room in anger. If you can't earn money, you clumsy man, then go and beg for some. She was so angry. Now the barber thought this was a good idea. He did not use the brains that whatever little he had. The king was getting married that day and would be sure to be generous to his people, the barber thought. He set off for the palace. At the palace, he bowed respectfully to the king and begged him to give something. Begged. The king was amused and ordered his minister to grant the barber some wasteland outside the city. And why did the king do so? Because he was very happy that day. He was getting married. The barber returned home delighted. Why? Because he had done what his wife had asked him to do. Beg. Well, asked the wife, what did the king give you? Some land outside the city, he replied in joy. And you foolish man took it and came away. Since when have you become a farmer? Asking for a piece of land? What are we going to do with it? When her anger cooled a bit, they went to see the land. It was a large patch of uneven ground. The woman shrank with horror at the thought of the work they would have to put on that piece of land to plow it, to get ready to plant something. But she was very witty. She always used her mind. And she started thinking and came up with an idea. She ordered her husband to imitate her movements, copy her movements, and soon they were both walking slowly over the land, their eyes on the ground as if looking for something. A band of robbers was passing by. Their leader approached the wife and asked her if they had lost something. She pretended to be startled and said, "Oh no, nothing at all." When the robber insisted, she took him aside and said, "My uncle died a while ago, and before he died, he told me that he had buried 5 pots of gold in this field. Before telling us where he died, and we are trying to find them. But please, please promise not to tell this to anyone." The robber swore that he wouldn't and left. Soon the barber and his wife returned home. The wife was in high spirits. Why? She was believing that her idea was going to work. When the two went back the next morning to the field, every inch of it had been dug. The barber's wife chuckled as she explained what had happened. "I knew the robber would tell his friends what he had heard. The poor things must have spent all night digging up the whole field to find that gold. Now all we have to do is plant some grain." See how clever she was? She got the whole uneven patch of land plowed. She bought grain on credit from the corn merchant, and then she planted it. The harvest was magnificent because the land was plowed so well by the robbers. The barber's wife sold the crop for a large sum, and they started living in comfort. But the robbers were very sore about being cheated by the barber's wife. They waited for an opportunity to take revenge. One evening, as it was getting dark, their leader slipped into the barber's house and hid himself. He thought, "These people have made a fool of us and have made so much of money. We'll steal all that money." But the barber's wife saw him. She went into the kitchen, took a shallow bowl and filled it with garbage, waste. On top, she put a layer of sweets. Then she whispered to her husband that as soon as she was in bed, he must ask her in a loud voice where she had put all the money. A few minutes later, the barber came into their room and, as told by his wife, asked, "Where have you put all the money that we made from that big patch of land? I hope it is in a proper safe place." His wife replied, "Oh, don't you worry, dear husband. I have put it at the bottom of the bowl which has sweets. No one will ever find it there." Now, the robber smiled and waited until the two were fast asleep. Then he crept into the kitchen and made off with a bowl of sweets. You can imagine how angry the robbers were when they found out that the bowl was filled with kitchen garbage under a layer of sweets. They swore that they would not rest until they had robbed the robber's wife of all the money that she had earned. When summer set in, the days were hot and the nights were cool. It was more pleasant to keep outdoors than in a room. So the barber and his wife put their beds in the backyard where the cool night breeze brought on a deep sleep. That night, the barber's wife dreamed that she was riding in a palanquin. Palki in Hindi. It was very pleasant indeed. She opened her eyes. To her surprise, she realized that she wasn't in a palanquin at all. Instead, her bed was being carried away by the robbers. Oh my God, what would you do if you found yourself like that? Let's see what she did. What shall I do now? She started thinking. I really have been trapped this time. I can't expect mercy from them now after having fooled them twice. Then she heard one of them say, "She is so heavy. My shoulder is beginning to hurt. Let's put the bed down for a while." They placed the bed under a banyan tree, lay down and dozed off. They were very tired. The woman knew this was her chance to escape. She arranged the bedclothes so that it appeared that she was fast asleep. Then she climbed on a tree. She bundled herself up and crouched on a thick branch like this. Just as the robbers began waking up, she began howling in a hollow voice. In the silence and darkness, the sound was terrifying. She had wrapped her face and arms in her white shawl and now let the ends flap. In the breeze, the robbers saw a white figure sitting on the tree, flapping its wings and howling. They were certain that it was a ghost and that the tree was haunted. Scared out of their wits, the robbers took to their heels. The barber's wife could hardly stop laughing. She climbed down the tree, laughingly and leisurely picked up her bed and walked home. The robbers never heard of the wife again. Why? Because she never saw them again in that neighborhood. They never dared to come again. And all because of the brains that the barber's wife used every time she found that she was in some difficulty. Children, this is what you can do if you use your brains without being scared in a difficult situation. How did you like the story? Write to me about your thoughts in the comment section on the channel. And please like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends that I tell lovely stories to all of you. Write to me about the stories that you want me to narrate to you. Thank you for listening to this story. And thank you for being with me on this channel, on this journey, all through this journey of storytelling. Be good and use your brains. Till then, that I come again, Ammu says, Tata.